King Von, a name that shook the streets. Chicago's South Side has produced some of the most feared and respected figures in hip-hop and the streets alike. But among them, one name stands out: King Von. His reputation wasn't just built on music. It was built on a past that made even the toughest men think twice before crossing him. His story is one of survival, loyalty, and a cold reality that shaped who he was. But what made him so feared? Why did even his enemies tread carefully? And how did he go from a young boy in Parkway Gardens to a legend whose name still echoes today? Stay with me, because this story is deeper than rap. Davon Daquan Bennett was born on August 9th, 1994 in Parkway Gardens, a neighborhood more commonly known as O Block. This wasn't just any Chicago neighborhood, it was a battlefield. O Block was named after O.D. Perry, a Black Disciples member who was shot and killed in 2011, setting off one of the bloodiest feuds in Chicago history. This was the environment King Von was raised in. By the time he was old enough to understand the world around him, he had already lost close friends and family members to the streets. Death and betrayal weren't foreign concepts. They were everyday realities. In O Block, you either became prey or you became a predator. And King Von? He refused to be prey. From a young age, Von was surrounded by gang culture, learning the rules of survival before most kids even learned how to ride a bike. His father, Walter Silk Bennett, was a well-known figure in the streets, but was locked up for most of Von's life before being killed when Von was just 11 years old. That loss left a deep scar, hardening him in a way that would shape his entire future. To understand Von, you have to understand O Block. It wasn't just a neighborhood, it was one of the most infamous battlegrounds in Chicago's gang wars. Originally a mixed community, by the early 2000s, it had become controlled by the Black Disciples, with neighboring sets like 600, Lamron, and TYMB forming alliances. However, their enemies, the Gangster Disciples and various factions of the Vice Lords, were just as active, leading to an endless cycle of retaliation. Von grew up witnessing this firsthand. Every year, someone he knew, someone close, was either locked up or killed. By the time he was a teenager, his mindset was already shaped. Survival meant being the aggressor. His name started buzzing around the South Side as someone who wasn't just part of the lifestyle, but was built for it. Von's first steps into the game. Von wasn't just any kid in the neighborhood. He was a quick learner, sharp, and fearless. By his teenage years, he was already earning his stripes in the streets. His name started circulating as someone who wasn't just about talk. Unlike many who claimed to be about that life, Von was really living it. One of the first major incidents that put his name on the map was an alleged shooting case when he was just 16. Though details remain murky, the streets knew one thing. Von wasn't afraid to handle business. He wasn't just another kid playing gangster. He was someone with a growing reputation for standing on what he said. But Von wasn't just reckless. He was strategic. He understood the power of alliances, the importance of loyalty, and the dangers of betrayal. Unlike many, he played the long game, the making of a real gangster. Between 2014 and 2017, Von spent significant time behind bars for multiple charges, including murder and attempted murder. This period was a defining moment for him. Most people break in jail, but Von? He only got sharper. He studied, he strategized, and most importantly, he solidified alliances that would help shape his future. During this time, his relationship with Lil Durk grew even stronger. Durk recognized that Vaughn wasn't just another street dude. He had something special. He had charisma, a story to tell, and most importantly, a reputation that made people listen. Behind bars, Vaughn also developed a deeper sense of discipline. He read, he observed, and he learned from older inmates. This was a crash course in survival, and by the time he was released, he wasn't just a product of the streets, he was a master of them. A new weapon. By the time Vaughn got out, the streets were already buzzing about him. But instead of going back to the same cycle, he took a different route: music. With Durk's support, he jumped into the rap game head first, and it didn't take long for the world to notice. His first major hit, Crazy Story, wasn't just a song, it was a statement. It painted a vivid picture of the life he lived, and it was different from anything else out at the time. The way he told stories, the energy in his voice, it felt real because it was real. That's what made King Von different from other rappers. When he rapped about something, you knew he wasn't just making it up. Von didn't just tell stories, he made listeners feel like they were right there with him, in the trenches, moving through the shadows, making decisions that could cost lives. And that's what set him apart. The night, everything changed tragically. King Von's life was cut short on November 6th, 2020, outside an Atlanta nightclub. An altercation escalated, shots were fired, and Von was hit multiple times. He was rushed to the hospital, but later pronounced dead. The news sent shockwaves through the rap community. Fans mourned, friends grieved, and even his enemies had to acknowledge the loss of a true figure in the streets. His death wasn't just another headline, it was the end of an era for O-Block and Chicago's drill movement, the legacy that still lives on. King Von's story is more than just rap. It's a tale of survival, loyalty, and the harsh realities of the streets. He was feared, respected, and undeniably influential. Even in death, his name still echoes, his music still resonates, and his legacy still lives on. But this is just the beginning of uncovering the truth behind the figures that shaped hip-hop and the streets. If you found this deep dive into King Von's life captivating, imagine what else we have in store. Don't forget to like this video if you want more gripping stories, and subscribe to stay ahead of the next legendary breakdown. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload, because trust me, you won't want to. Who should we cover next? Let us know in the comments. And as always, stay locked in, because the truth never sleeps.